We are on chapter 11 of Dr. Chapman's book. This chapter is called Love Makes the Difference. He points out in this chapter that psychologists say that people need security, a sense of self-worth, and a sense of significance. And he points out that love is connected to all three of these. We see the connection between love and the other components of strength and health and goodness in the scripture for this video, which is in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. In the last verse of the chapter, it says, "And now abideth faith, hope, and charity, these three, but the greatest of these is charity." In fact, that whole chapter is about charity and how it's more enduring and more persistent than other good and strong and faithful attributes. And of course, charity is the pure love of Christ. So as we look at the importance of love to all other positive aspects of our self-worth, of our nature, we see that it's critical to give love to each other, to share love, particularly in the marriage relationship. And as Dr. Chapman has been pointing out throughout this whole book, we do that best as we share in their primary love language. In this chapter, he shares the story of a couple who had been together for many, many years. When they came to see him, the wife pointed out very quickly that they didn't have many problems and that they didn't argue. And so she wanted to get that quickly off the table, but then they just expressed they weren't feeling love for each other. And through the conversation, it became very, very clear that the husband had been serving his wife extensively for many, many years. Again, obviously, his primary love language was acts of service, but her primary love language was quality time. It was quite a revelation for him that he could gain more points with his wife by sitting on the couch and talking with her for 15 minutes a day than he could by doing all the service. Of course, I personally find this an interesting chapter that he points out that particular combination because it was the same for my wife and I. It's been amazing to me to see how much happier she is, how much more confident, how many more good things there are in our life as I take time to talk to her as we do dog walks and just make it a point to talk to her on a regular basis, and how that's more significant to her than all of the acts of service I was doing. I still do service. I think it's important. But again, her love language is quality time. So again, it's important to remember, and he's been teaching all through this book, that emotional love can be rekindled in a marriage, but you need to put the right kind of fuel in the tank. So consider and learn what your spouse's primary love language is and serve in that way. And it will do far more than other things you may have tried that are not your spouse's primary love language.